They say reality TV is messy, but tonight's story makes the Kardashians look like quiet librarians. Buckle up, 'cause King Harris' so-called final hours are turning into the hip-hop version of a Shakespeare. Tragedy, except instead of fancy poetry. We've got doctors scribbling devastating reports, family members crying like they just lost Wi-Fi, and fans online acting like they just found out. McDonald's discontinued the McRib. Picture this. The ICU has more chaos than a Walmart on Black Friday. T.I. is pacing like a rapper who forgot his own lyrics. Tiny is breaking down in real time. And the Harris clan looks like they're starring in the season finale of Love and Hip Hop, ICU edition. Meanwhile, doctors are whispering medical updates that sound less like hope and more like plot twists ripped straight out of a Netflix thriller. And the streets. Oh, they're eating this up like it's Thanksgiving leftovers. Memes flying, hashtags trending, and fans screaming. Is this the end for King Harris? Spoiler alert, nobody knows. But the drama is juicier than a lemon at Beyoncé's lemonade stand. This isn't just news. It's a full-blown cultural earthquake. And trust me, this last report is the one nobody saw coming. When the news first broke that King Harris was rushed into the ICU, the internet didn't just react, it combusted. Imagine tossing a lit match into a fireworks factory, then realizing the factory also sits on top of a gas station. That's how explosive the reaction was. 1 second, everyone's debating Drake's latest album cover. The next, the timeline is flooded with hashtags like hashtag pray for King, hashtag Harris family drama, and my personal favorite, hashtag ICU gate. Because of course, in 2025, every tragedy comes with a gate. But before we dive into the chaos of those so-called final hours, let's rewind the messy clock. King Harris, son of rap legend T.I. and reality TV queen Tiny, has never exactly been known for subtlety. This kid has been the poster child for what happens when fame, ego, and social media collide. He's been in fights. He's made viral confessions. He's clapped back at haters harder than Nicki Minaj on a bad day. And somehow, he always manages to keep his name in the headlines. So when whispers started leaking from the hospital, it's bad. Doctors preparing the final report. Family gathering at the bedside. It didn't feel like just another hip-hop headline. It felt like the prelude to a Greek tragedy, except instead of gods and monsters, we've got TMZ lurking outside the ICU like vultures circling a carcass. Now, here's where it gets even messier. Sources claim the Harris family rolled up to the hospital looking like they were entering the BET Awards red carpet. Except instead of smiles and step and repeats, it was straight-up chaos. Tiny reportedly broke down in tears the moment she stepped inside. Fans describe her as collapsing like a Wi-Fi signal in the middle of a storm. Meanwhile, T.I., the king of confident speeches and rapper bravado, looked completely powerless, pacing the hallways with his head in his hands. If this isn't the setup for the season finale of Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta ICU edition, I don't know what is. Doctors, of course, are the only ones trying to keep things professional. But you know how families get when emotions run high. One witness even claimed there was so much yelling in the hallway. You'd think the Grammys just gave Best Rap Album to Iggy Azalea again? Ouch. But here's the kicker, the final report. That phrase leaked online like a scandalous text message, and instantly fans assumed the worst. Nobody wants to hear final when someone's in the hospital. It's like telling a Game of Thrones fan, oh, don't worry, he's not really dead, only to behead the character 2 scenes later. The ambiguity was enough to send the internet spiraling. Some fans thought it meant doctors were preparing to tell the family the inevitable. Others swore it was just medical lingo blown out of proportion. But either way, the Harris family gathered. And every second inside that ICU, you felt like a countdown clock dot. Meanwhile, let's not pretend the internet stayed calm. Nope. Twitter was practically foaming at the mouth. One fan tweeted, "If King Harris dies, this generation's Tupac prophecy ends here." Another posted, Doctors better not pull the plug until we get a final diss track. Yes, people are this savage in 2025. Compassion lasts 10 minutes. Then comes the memes. And oh, the memes. King Harris hooked up to hospital monitors, photoshopped into a DJ. Booth T.I. in the waiting room, edited to look like he's negotiating a record deal with the nurses. Tiny crying compared to that famous Tyra Banks, "I was rooting for you" meme. It was cruel. It was heartless. But it was also exactly what the internet does. Let's not sugarcoat it. King Harris himself invited this level of public obsession. This is the same guy who once went live from a jail cell and told his followers, "Y'all can't cancel me. I'm already canceled." He's been messy, unapologetic, and larger than life. So of course, his final hours were never going to play out quietly. But here's the detail that sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community. Reports claim the family wasn't just preparing for medical news. No, they were bracing for something even wilder. Allegedly, King Harris had made a confession, some kind of tell-all moment, a final bombshell before his health crashed. Suddenly, it wasn't just about whether he'd make it or not. It was about what he said before the doctors came in with their clipboards. That whisper spread like wildfire. Some swore he confessed about secret feuds. Others said he named names of rappers who crossed him. A few tinfoil hat theorists even pushed the idea that he revealed dark industry secrets because, in hip-hop, there's always an Illuminati angle lurking in the shadows. The family's faces only fueled the speculation. Tiny's tears, T.I.'s silence, relatives rushing in from out of state, it all painted a picture that screamed something bigger is happening. The ICU wasn't just a hospital ward. It was a stage, and everyone knew the world was watching. Of course, the mainstream outlets tried to play it calm. CNN dropped their polished rapper's son hospitalized headline. Rolling Stone added a neat paragraph about a family in distress. But social media wrote the real script. According to them, King Harris wasn't just lying in a hospital bed, he was at the center of a hip-hop. Armageddon fans camped outside the hospital like it was Coachella. Paparazzi blocked the entrances. Even the hospital cafeteria staff were leaking updates. T.I. just bought 3 coffees and he looked stressed. In 2025, that qualifies as breaking news by the time evening rolled around. The Harris family had fully occupied the ICU wing, and whispers about the final report turned into full-blown hysteria. Would doctors come out with a clipboard and break the family in half? Or would this be another case of social media killed him before reality did? Because, let's be real, we've seen this play out too many times. Remember when the internet killed Lil Wayne with fake seizures every 6 months? Or when Twitter swore Britney Spears was being held hostage? In the digital age, a rumor moves faster than truth. And King Harris' situation became the latest example. But here's the cliffhanger, the detail that nobody can ignore. Multiple sources said doctors weren't just preparing a report. They were preparing the last report. And if you know how hospitals work, they don't throw around words like last unless it's serious. That's why family members were flooding the ICU, why tears flowed like open faucets, and why the internet lost its collective mind. So here we are. A rapper's son fighting for his life. Doctors dropping ominous hints. A family collapsing under the weight of public spectacle. And fans treating the ICU like it's a live-streamed soap opera. And trust me, if you think this setup is messy, wait until you see the twists, betrayals, and celebrity reactions that turn this ICU tragedy into the most outrageous saga since. Kanye tried to run for president. And just when people thought the drama couldn't get any messier, the reactions from the celebrity world crashed in like an earthquake. Charleston White was the first grenade. He jumped on Instagram Live, yelling into his phone like it owed him rent. Didn't I tell y'all? Didn't I say that boy was headed for disaster? Now look, everybody crying in the ICU like they didn't see this coming. Half the internet roasted him for cloud chasing, the other half spammed laughing emojis. Because in 2025, tragedy is just another live stream opportunity. But Charleston wasn't alone. Cardi B typed out a sending prayers tweet with folded hands emojis. Sweet, right? Wrong. Screenshots of her old feuds with T resurfaced within minutes. Fans twisted it into shade, claiming her prayers came with a side of pettiness. The Barbs clapped back even harder, turning the ICU into a Stan War battleground. Compassion expired after 5 seconds. Then came the king of petty himself, 50 Cent. Of course, he couldn't resist. He dropped an IG story smirking with the caption, "Doctors preparing the final report." That sounds like a Power spinoff. Boom. Within minutes, memes of 50 producing a hospital drama flooded timelines. Only 50 could turn a family's tragedy into a free promo campaign. And the internet devoured it. Meanwhile, Cat Williams slid into the moment with his razor-sharp sarcasm. During a set, he told the crowd, regular folks wait 6 hours for Tylenol. But rappers' kids get ICU reports written like Pulitzer Prize essays. Must be nice being VIP in the emergency room. The crowd howled. The clip went viral, and suddenly Cat was trending harder than King himself. Cat was trending harder than King himself. But it was Dave Chappelle who froze everyone. On stage, he didn't crack a joke, he dropped a truth bomb. Y'all love to watch these kids grow up in chaos. Then you cheer when they crash. Hip-hop is a coliseum, and the crowd always wants blood. King Harris is just the latest gladiator. The room went silent and the internet exploded. Was it wisdom? Was it shade? Either way, it hit like a sledgehammer dot outside the ICU. Fans turned the hospital into a circus. Live streamers camped out, vendors sold Pray for King shirts like it was a concert. And paparazzi snapped every tear-streaked face entering the building. Nurses whispered updates to bloggers. And even the cafeteria workers leaked gossip like, one nurse claiming, I bought 3 coffees. He looks tired. Yes, in 2025, that's breaking news. Inside, the family's meltdown was even messier. Rumors swirled about relatives accusing each other of leaking info to TMZ, allegedly. One cousin pointed fingers and screamed, "You sold us out for a payout." If true, this wasn't just a medical crisis, it was a family betrayal, reality show style. And then came the clip. The resurfaced video of King Harris just weeks before, confidently saying, "If anything ever happened to me, just know I kept it too real for this industry." Suddenly, conspiracy theorists treated it like gospel. Reddit threads lit up with titles like "King predicted his own ICU fate." Twitter went into overdrive. Was this a warning? A prophecy? A confession? Wild theories spread faster than the truth. Some swore King exposed rappers by name before collapsing. Others whispered about dark industry secrets. A few dragged the Illuminati into it because in hip-hop, no crisis is complete without a triangle eye emoji. And as all this madness spiraled, the memes doubled down. One showed King Harris in bed holding a Grammy. Another edited I crying into a mic with the caption, "Live from ICU, Harris Family Reality Show." Season 1. Savage, tasteless, but viral as hell by now. The story wasn't about medical updates anymore. It was about reputation, spectacle, and legacy. Mainstream anchors debated whether King Harris had become the tragic poster child for Gen Z fame gone wrong. Talk shows posed dramatic questions like, has hip-hop culture turned hospital beds into entertainment stages? And the cruel truth. They weren't wrong. Because once that phrase, the final report, hit the internet, King Harris' story stopped belonging to the Harris family. It belonged to the culture, the chaos, the circus of spectators who couldn't look away. The ICU had become a stage, and King Harris, willing or not, was the star of the most outrageous performance hip-hop has ever seen. The dust hadn't even settled in that ICU when the aftermath started to spiral into something bigger than anyone imagined. The Harris family thought this was just about survival. But by the time the night ended, it had turned into a cultural autopsy. The phrase "final report" didn't just haunt the family. It became the internet's rallying cry. Suddenly, everyone wanted answers. Everyone wanted receipts. Everyone wanted blood. The Harris name, once wrapped in glossy reality TV drama and rap royalty status, now looked like a scandal-stained brand. T.I., usually the man of 1,000 motivational speeches, went dead silent. Not a post, not a tweet, nothing but grim pacing and whispered arguments caught by paparazzi microphones. For a rapper who built his career on wordplay, silence screamed louder than any diss track. And the silence made fans suspicious. Was he hiding something? Covering up a secret? Or simply too broken to face the circus? Tiny, meanwhile, couldn't escape the headlines. Photos of her breaking down in the hallway were plastered everywhere, turned into reaction memes. TikToks and even sound edits on Reels. Her sobs, raw and human, were remixed into beats. That's how merciless the culture is. Your grief isn't private, it's trending. NDU came the friends. The allies, the so-called extended family of hip-hop. Some rushed to defend King Boosie, never one to bite his tongue. Dropped a furious Instagram rant. Man, y'all play too much. This boy fighting for his life and y'all making memes? Clout demons. Y'all ain't fans, y'all vultures. His rant went viral, but instead of shifting sympathy, it just poured gasoline on the fire. Comments mocked him, screenshots spun into jokes. And suddenly, even his outrage became part of the entertainment. The bigger fallout was on King Harris' own reputation. This wasn't a clean, polished image like Tupac in his final days or Nipsey Hussle's legacy sealed in gold. No, King's final hours were messy, loud, and wrapped in public scandal. People debated whether he was a cautionary tale, a misunderstood young star, or just another kid who thought clout was currency until the bill came due. That debate was endless. Twitter Spaces lit up with heated arguments. He kept it to real versus he played to reckless. What no one wanted to admit was that the Harris family became entertainment stock. Fans weren't just spectators, they were investors in chaos, demanding content at every turn. The ICU wasn't a hospital anymore, was a stage, and the finale kept the world on edge. Would doctors step out with devastating news? Or would this saga drag into yet another plot twist? The press didn't help. Tabloids milked the drama with front-page spreads like ICU secrets, Harris family tears and fears. And what did King Harris confess? Every vague update turned into a headline. Every family member's facial expression was dissected like evidence in a murder trial. Even King's siblings weren't spared, photographed arriving at the hospital, accused of using the tragedy for clout. Their IG stories screenshot and overanalyzed. And here's the sickest twist. The final report itself became a meme. People started tweeting fake screenshots of imaginary doctor notes, like patient diagnosed with 100%, clout deficiency or condition, terminal drip, cruel. Yes, viral. Absolutely. The line between real updates and internet parody blurred until nobody knew or cared what was true anymore. But let's talk about the culture impact. This wasn't just King's crisis, it was hip-hop's mirror. The genre that raised him, the fame machine that cheered him on, was now laughing, speculating, and profiting off his downfall. Influencers cashed in with ICU reaction videos. TikTokers did parody skits of the Harris family crying. And YouTubers turned tragedy into thumbnails with bold red fonts. King Harris's last words leaked. The monetization of misery was complete. For the Harris family, the aftermath was devastating. Trust was gone. Every cousin, every friend, every hanger-on looked like a potential leaker. The circle closed tighter, paranoia rising higher. Even within the walls of the ICU, they couldn't grieve in peace. Every sigh, every tear, every whispered conversation felt like it could hit TMZ by morning. The family wasn't just fighting for King's life, they were fighting to keep their story from being sold to the highest bidder. And then came the biggest consequence of all, the legacy question. If this really was King Harris's final hours, how would he be remembered? As T.I.'s rebellious son who never lived up to the hype? As a loudmouth clout magnet who predicted his own fate? Or as a tragic symbol of what happens when you grow up in the algorithm spotlight? where every mistake becomes content and every downfall becomes a hashtag. The aftermath painted him as all three. Some fans built shrines, posting heartfelt prayers and candlelight photos. Others dragged him, saying he brought this on himself. And the darkest corners of the internet turned him into a meme mascot. Proof that in the age of clicks, even Death Thor, the threat of it is entertainment currency. The family's reputations took collateral damage. Tooti's credibility as a father figure. Tiny's strength as the glue of the family. Even the Harris brand itself, all under fire. For years, they sold us the image of hustle, grind, and reality TV resilience. Now, the cracks were exposed, raw and unfiltered. And once the internet sees those cracks, it never forgets. But here's the cruel cliffhanger. After all the crying, all the leaks, all the celebrity reactions and internet madness, the doctors still hadn't delivered the so-called devastating last report to the public. The waiting game stretched on. Rumors piled higher. The Harris family stayed locked inside the hospital, paparazzi outside like wolves. Fans online gnawing at every scrap of gossip. And so the saga didn't end with a clean resolution. It ended with tension, uncertainty, and the heavy silence of a story too big to contain. King Harris ICU drama wasn't just about life or death. It was about the brutal reality of fame in 2025, where privacy is extinct, empathy is rationed, and every final breath is live-streamed for clicks. The devastating part wasn't just the report. It was realizing that the family's pain had been consumed, dissected, and sold long before the doctors even opened their mouths. King Harris's final hours weren't just about him. They were about us, the culture, and the ugly appetite we all feed. And if you think this saga is over, think again. In hip-hop, scandal never dies, just reloads for the next episode, and that's where we leave the Harris ICU saga for now. But let's be real, this ain't the last scandal. It's just the commercial break. Tomorrow, there'll be another meltdown, another exposed secret. Another celebrity crying harder than a kid who just dropped their ice cream. And when it happens, you already know we'll be right here, breaking it down with more drama than a Netflix binge session. More drama than a Netflix binge session. So here's the deal. If you're sitting there wide-eyed, clutching your phone like it just texted you back, then smash that like button like it owes you rent. Drop a comment below. Tell me, is King Harris the tragic prince of hip-hop, or just another cautionary tale of clout gone wild? And don't just watch in silence, join the circus. Because your opinion is the gasoline that keeps this fire burning. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button so hard your screen shakes. Don't be that one person who finds out about the next scandal a week late because you didn't turn on notifications. Around here, scandals drop faster than mixtapes. And if you blink, you'll miss the mess. Because, let's be honest, this channel isn't just commentary, it's the front row seat to the wildest soap opera the culture has ever seen. You want secrets, betrayals, hospital drama, celebrity clapbacks, and memes that'll outlive the actual careers. You're in the right place. This was messy, chaotic, and jaw-dropping, but tomorrow's story? Oh, it'll make this one look like Disney Channel reruns. Stay locked in. Stay savage. Stay entertained. You already know the nameware. Scandals never sleep, and the truth always comes with a side of sarcasm. This is Expose Express.